How's it going, everybody? Combo here. Today we got 5 quick tips with the CB01 repeater, or just the repeater, so I don't sound like a nerd throughout the entirety of this video. I've kind of waited to make this guide. As you know, usually I like to get all of them out as the season begins. However, I kind of anticipated a nerf to the repeater. However, it doesn't really seem like that's gonna happen. So with that being said, I have some really cool stuff for you today that can hopefully make this thing a little easier to use. I've seen a lot of people in the community saying that one of the biggest drawbacks to this weapon is its pretty steep learning curve. So hopefully I can show you some stuff to make that a little bit easier and let you take full advantage of this weapon. So without any further ado, let's get right into it. Alright, starting things out at number 1, we have perhaps the most important tip in this video, hence why I'm putting it first, that being the animation reload cancel. So it's no secret to anybody who's used the repeater for more than 5 seconds, you definitely want to watch your ammo, and to combat this, Embark has given the repeater the speed loader. As you can see there, once you have emptied all the rounds out of the repeater, you will pull out the speed loader and reload 5 rounds very quickly, which is nice, but what I see a lot of people do is they'll pull out the speed loader and then they'll try to shoot, which is actually a delay in putting away the speed loader and allowing you to shoot. So what I'm trying to show you here is getting those 5 rounds as quickly as possible and then gauging your targets. And we're gonna do this through the gadget animation reload cancel, which I've shown off in the past. So once again, we're gonna go through all of our rounds here. As you can see, we're gonna shoot, shoot, shoot. And as soon as I go to pull out that speed loader, if I try shooting right here, as you can see, it takes a minute, right? And I only get 1 round. So if you're spamming that, you only get 1 round, and then you're gonna have to pull out that speed loader again, which is not optimal. So what I'm gonna show you to do is to take full advantage of that. We are gonna do that animation cancel. So watch what I do here. If I'm looking at this heavy target, I'm gonna look in the bottom right. As soon as I see they hit 5, I'm going to pull out a gadget and then quickly swap back. As you can see there, that gives me 5 rounds, and that's gonna allow me to re-engage my target a lot faster. So once again, we'll do that. And once again, the advantage to this over just trying to shoot, as if, once again right here, if I just shoot, I'm only getting like 1 or 2 rounds, whereas if I do the animation cancel, I'm getting 5 and I'm re-engaging in about the same time. So once again, animations with the repeater can take quite a while, so if you want to ensure your uptime is good, you're gonna want to cancel those animations, which can be done with the gadget cancel. Alright, next up at number 2, we have quick aiming. Now this is another super important facet of the repeater, especially in those duels that are at those kind of close to medium ranges. So as you probably know, once again, shooting the repeater, there is quite a delay between shots, which one can make landing those shots kind of difficult, but also if you're just sitting there aiming down sights like this, trying to hit your target, I mean, you're kind of a sitting duck, because once again, you really want to make sure that you're hitting those shots, and if you're moving around, jumping and doing all that, it's a little bit more difficult. So what I see a lot of people do is they kind of stand stationary. What I'm doing here is trying to show you how to break that habit. So what quick aiming is, if I'm looking at this target, as soon as I fire a shot, I am going to look away. I'm going to, most importantly, unaim down sights and strafe, because once again, while I'm aimed down sights, as you can see here, I can barely move, but the second I unaim, as you can see, I'm moving a lot faster. So what quick aiming looks like is as soon as I shoot that shot, I'm gonna disengage and then re-engage. And this is just gonna make you a lot more difficult to hit. And once again, because this thing is so punishing when you miss those shots, you want to make it as difficult as possible for your enemy to take you out. So once again, if I hit him here, this is what it looks like. I'm moving around, I'm jumping around, I'm making it as difficult as possible. There is a bit of a rhythm to it that's gonna take some adjustment if you're not used to it, but once again, shoot, re-engage, shoot, re-engage, shoot, re-engage. And this is gonna make you a lot more elusive. Once again, you don't wanna move too much because you still wanna hit your shots. But once you practice it, man, I mean, it's really not as bad as you think. As you can see here, also taking advantage of the reload tech there. But once again, highly recommend quick aiming. Don't just sit there and aim down sights unless you're at those super long ranges, because once again, you really are just kind of a sitting duck with this weapon. As you can see here, it takes some adjustment. You might miss a few initially, but super important that you do this because you don't want to just be sitting there and getting laid on by the enemy. Alright, next up at number 3, we have the kill combos. Now initially, I wasn't going to put this in the video because I thought maybe the repeater would get a damage nerf. However, as things are starting to kind of shake out, I don't necessarily see that happening. So, starting with the light, you have a few options. The first is a headshot and a quick melee, which is of course very strong at those closer ranges. The one you're probably going to use the most though is going to be 2 body shots, which is also very strong once you can land your shots with this weapon. With the medium, you have a few options. Of course, you have 1-2 headshots, which is enough to take them out. I would highly recommend trying to get this, even if you have to slow down your shots, because that is a very fast time to kill. You also have, of course, 3 body shots, which is, once again, probably going to be more common. The heavy is where things get a little bit more complicated. Of course, you have 1, 2, 3 headshots, which in a perfect world is great and easy to do, but probably not that common. The other one you have is 1, 2, 3, 4, and a quick melee, which my recommendation is if you are going to engage a heavy, throw a gadget and just try to damage them a little bit. Turrets are really good for this. If they get hit like 2 times by the turret, you can take them out in 4 body shots. Even a grenade that's like not super close to them, as you can see here, that will give you that 4 body shot kill a lot of the time. So once again, you have options. Just understand that heavies are probably going to be your kryptonite a little bit. Another really good one is 2 headshots, a body shot, and a quick melee. Once again, I don't really want to go over every single combination with the heavy because it's going to come down to the circumstance you find yourself in. My biggest piece of advice with a heavy though, once again, is going to be try to like light them up with gadgets or anything you can do beforehand, because that's going to make your time to kill a hell of a lot easier with the repeater. All right, next up at number 4, we have high ground. Now this one might seem kind of basic, but I am going to show you a cool method to make this more consistent and give yourself high ground all the time. But it's no secret, right? The repeater is not great at those closer ranges, especially if you're fighting a light and they're jumping around. You know, once again, the hip fire, which we will talk about later, is pretty powerful on this weapon. But once again, you don't exactly want to be super close range because this thing, you know, it's a long range weapon at the end of the day, right? With that being said, high ground is always your best friend when you are looking at a ranged engagement because they have to work harder to shoot you. Additionally, when you have high ground, you can play cover and they can't, unless of course there is cover in front of them. So what I'm going to show you here is a little tech I like to do with the jump pad and the goo grenade to always ensure that I have high ground. All you're gonna do is take the jump pad right here, you're gonna go here, hold down the goo grenade, and you're gonna land on top of it. This gives you a really good angle to engage targets, as you can kind of see right here. Just trying to turn the fight as much as I can in my advantage. If you wanna run around on the high ground, you can of course put down another goo grenade. Another one that I don't see people do a lot is you can actually use turrets as platforms, as you can see right here. We can jump on top of the turret and wait for another goo grenade. Once again, my biggest recommendation here is ensuring that you keep high ground and have a way to always have it. Because once again, you don't want to be in targets' faces. This is also a really good way to kind of escape from targets. And goo is also just really powerful, and it's always a good idea to kind of have in your arsenal. Another thing this allows you to do with the goo platform is put a jump pad on the side of it, which will give you a quick escape from targets. Understand that, of course, they can follow you as well, but either way, right? Pretty good. Highly recommend you give it a try because having that high ground on demand is going to separate you from a lot of repeater players in the meta right now. And finally, at number 5, we have hip fire. This is incredibly important when you're using the repeater. As I showed off in the last tip, right, at number 4, high ground is your best friend because it allows you to keep distance from your targets. However, when you're fighting like invisible lights or heavies with charge and slam, you're inevitably going to find yourself in those close quarters engagements. Hence why you need to learn how to hip fire, and you need to know when to do it, and most importantly, how to do it more consistently. So what I'm going to be showing you here is a method of crouch strafing that's going to make hip firing with the repeater a lot more consistent. So I'll say this, if you are within about 5 meters of the target, 90% of the time, all of your hip fire shots with the repeater are going to hit. Once again, 90% of the time, not always. If we want to take this up to 100%, all you're gonna do before you take that shot is crouch. As you can see here, it's gonna group that hip fire spread a little bit. So as we showed off in number 2 with the quick aiming, it's the same concept. You're going to crouch, uncrouch, crouch, uncrouch. And this allows you to hit that hip fire shot more consistently, and you're also moving your silhouette more. And once again, while you're essentially, I don't know the term for it, racking your weapon, I don't know how I couldn't think of that, or chambering it, this is making it a lot more difficult to hit. So once again, if I'm looking at this target here and I'm just doing this and hip firing, my silhouette is the exact same. Also, my hip fire is going to be less accurate. If I want to make myself both harder to hit and my hip fire shots easier to hit, all I'm going to do is crouch around a little bit, and as you can see there, it makes my shot so much more consistent, and people are going to miss you. Like I'm telling you, a little bit of crouch strafing with the repeater just before you shoot. Like obviously you want to make sure you're crouching when you shoot so you get that hip fire bonus. I'm telling you, man, this trips people up super hard. So once again, if you're gonna use the repeater and you wanna hip fire, make sure you're crouched before you take that shot, because as you can see here, it's gonna make your life a hell of a lot more consistent with the repeater and allow you to hit those hip fire shots. Anyways, everyone, I do hope you enjoyed this video. As always, let me know what you think in the comments. I tried to be as brief and concise as possible with this one, but the repeater is another one of those weapons, man, where it's like you can do your best, but there's just so much to talk about, and theory when it comes to using this thing, like, you know, crouching and quick aiming and situational awareness and what works best. And, you know, once again, I could do a much more in-depth video in the future, but as it stands now, I'd like to think this is a pretty good kind of surface level explanation that can hopefully help you guys out, because a lot of people seem to really not like this weapon just because it's kind of difficult. Anyways, guys, I'm gonna quit yapping here. Thank you so much for stopping by, as always, especially for the support on the last tier list video. I have a gadget tier list coming in soon, so just kind of stay tuned for that. But yeah, let me know what you want to see next in the comments. This has been Combo. Much love, stay home, stay safe, and yeah, peace out, everybody. Later.